Hello, everybody. Welcome to Silent Podcast, a place where everything but silent. I'm your host, Jose, and we're back to talk about Big Brother 25. We took a week off. It doesn't really feel like a week off. It feels like a whole month. It's been crazy, but we're going to hear and chat about it tonight. So, as usual, I got my co-host, Katie. Katie, what's going on?
Not too much. We took a week off. The show, the game took a week off. We all took a week off. We needed a rest, but we're back, ready to talk about
All right, we got Josie from, I don't even know where she's at right now, but Josie, what's going on?
it.
Yes, different setup, same city. I'm back in Ottawa, but I'm excited to talk about this game because let me just say something. Karma is arriving, and I'm here for it every step of the way. So I'm excited.
All right, and then we got a guest tonight. We've been trying to set this up for a minute. A good friend of the pod, Sharon Tharp. Sharon, what's going on?
I'm so excited. We finally worked this out. I'm here. I'm excited to chat with you guys. It's been a long time coming. So thank you for the invite.
All right. Speaking of long time comings, if you want to support us for the long time, definitely check out our Patreon. You know what I'm saying? You can patreon.com/silent podcast. And you can also obviously super gift or just interact with us on social media as usual. But we got a lot to talk about. Sorta. Not really.
Sort
You
of.
know, it's been a week. You know, Katie, we were talking before we went live, and you definitely were like, I don't feel like talking about Big Brother.
Yeah.
Why is that, Katie? What's going on?
I just feel like the wind is totally out of my sails at this point. I feel like my interest in the game left the house, started to leave the house almost with Heisem because I loved Heisem. He was my first draft pick, but then really just kept on moving when Izzy left the house. And it's just been, I think, with Izzy leaving and then the double, which really would have made things interesting if they didn't completely flip everything around and basically shut the game off. I just lost all momentum for me. So it's going to take me a little bit, I think, to get back in the groove. But, I'm here. I'm ready. I think the conversation will get me back into it.
You know, Sharon, obviously, we're coming off of a double elimination, and then, we have some resurrections and a bunch of other random stuff that we're going to get super deep in it. But initial thoughts, just coming off of this very eventful week, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always unfortunate for the HOH when stuff like this happens, or you try to get someone out and then they come back. And I don't love that. I liked having a week off because this game has been intense, which I like as a fan. I'm like so into it because of the constant like flipping around. But yeah, it was kind of a dud week. I mean, Cameron, I went to watch the feeds today and he was in the middle of one of his stories and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this right now.
Yeah.
I need another break. But yeah, I mean, whatever. I just embrace what they do, the twist that Big Brother throws at us because whatever. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
What choice do we have?
What choice do we
What
have?
choice do we have?
Josie, I'm going to give you the option now or later. Because you told me you wanted, you had a lot to say. You want to save this for now, or you have a specific point that you want to do this at?
It's honestly specifically about a player, so I
Okay.
guess we'll
Okay.
wait until that conversation arrives about these specific players.
All
But
right.
ultimately, I do think this week is it's really weird because I think a lot of people hate it this week, but I like it. I think my favorite part of Big Brother is the social aspect of it. And so a week that's just fully social, no, well, there were comps, but that's so technical. But just talk after game talk after game talk, it saw some potential. I mean, I am rooting for Cerise, so I felt really great about that. I also saw the downfall of some players, which we'll talk to about. But yeah, ultimately, I like this week, and Jared leaves, so here we are.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into it. So obviously, it's been like 2 weeks. That's crazy. But last time we were here, obviously we saw Cam leave, and then right afterwards, Jarrett leaves, and it's like, wow, big moves. We're leaving from fights and all that stuff. And Julie comes with a bombshell. She's like, look, you guys are going to come back in the game, and you guys are going to be some Big Brother zombies. Now, I was not expecting that. I thought that was pretty wild, but here we are. We have the zombies twist, and I think when I first heard about this, like my assumption was like, all right, they're trying to do like a different version of Can't Come Back, and they're like, maybe it works this time. And all we know, maybe it was supposed to be set up a little differently because Luke left, and who knows if there was supposed to be like 3 zombies instead of 2 or something. I don't know, but obviously it happened the way it did, and I don't have a problem with it. but what I did have a problem was that we had to wait literally until this Thursday to get an HOH again, which was pretty bad in my opinion. I did not like it. No competitions in the middle that were important to the game, in my opinion. We did get some game talk, but Sharon, how did you really feel about this? Because we're coming in after crazy blindsides, and now the game's paused. Everyone's trying to figure out how to feel about things. Obviously, some people like Jared and them, they feel some type of way towards Felicia. You got Cam who's trying to infiltrate stuff. How do we feel about this? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was silly. When, Cam is making alliances, he's not really back in the house yet. But listen, that paid dividends, I guess, right now. But kind of to Josie's point, Suri did some work this week. I think socially she needed it. With Jared kind of in flux right there, I think she made a lot of headway, and it is paying off because now no one is targeting her. So, I don't hate it. I'm also not the biggest fan of competitions. I'm just whatever at this point, just tell me who wins. So it was nice seeing some of the social strategy. I agreed with Josie. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't the most exciting week in Big Brother history. But it's also not the worst twist we've ever had. So I guess everything's in comparison to what we've seen before, right? That's kind of how I feel about it.
Katie, fun fact, because I think Terrence said this in our app, but it's crazy how at this point, the only person that's in the house that has won something that's not a guy is Felicia. Yeah. Other than that, everything's been won usually by Jag, Cam, Jared at the time. Yeah. Corey won something. Matt's won something, but all the guys are kind of running stuff. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel great about it personally. I think, especially with the fact that two of these men that are winning most of the one that has won by far the most competitions has been evicted from the house unanimously. Jag was also evicted from the house unanimously, but a twist that because Matt won the competition saved Jag. It's kind of it's just disheartening, I think, especially because of the different types of diversity we've seen this season, specifically for the women. The comps are not equitable enough for a Felicia who is now on the block, which, spoiler for everyone who's not caught up on the feeds, with Mimi. She probably has no shot to win this, especially because Cameron is also going to be playing. So all likelihood Cameron, depending on who else gets picked, is probably going to win this veto. And it's just a little bit of a bummer because, in the beginning of the season, everybody was so firmly against a steamroll from Suri's side, which was a little bit of a different steamroll because it wasn't necessarily a comp steamroll because they got rid of Heisem so early. We're seeing a totally different steamroll from Cameron, who's actually been evicted from the house, who nobody really likes. I guess they're coming around to him now because they know that he's going to be stuck with them. But it's almost like Big Brother is putting so much emphasis on competitions that it makes the game inequitable for everyone else. And Taryn has been talking about this a lot on the podcasts and on the daily updates. So he has a lot of stats that I don't have off the top of my head, but go check I'm sure if you're listening to us, you've listened to him as well, but go check out what he's had to say if you haven't heard it, because it's really jarring to hear some of the numbers. And Big Brother has everything in their power to change this. They just choose not to. So it's almost just like they want to be the challenge, but with circus games instead of, pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics. Yeah. And then you actually, for some reason, I thought you said technotronics for a second. Just
oh goodness.
But, you saw also because I see your name Heisem's Karma. Someone said should have kept Heisem. So
I've been tweeting it every week. They should have flipped that week and gotten rid of Cam. This is probably will go down as maybe the biggest fumble of the entire season from Suri's side of the house. That was just, I think they had tunnel vision because of Heisem's, HOH-itis, but this really, I think, set them back for weeks and weeks and weeks to come.
How about you, Josie? How you feeling about it?
I think the game itself it has many elements of it. And what I used to say in past seasons, or specifically for Big Brother Canada, is that it feels like a social game, and then there's strategy and then comps that help maneuver the social strategy. And when these competitions do play a pivotal role. So when these competitions aren't equitable, it becomes kind of frustrating and kind of boring to watch, because it is a part of the show, but it's becoming more heavy in that sense, which is really weird in the sense also that the players are trying to avoid winning HOHs, which is a different strategy we haven't seen in Big Brother. They prefer to go for the vetoes, which I think is shows why every season of Big Brother is different. But the fact that that is the strategy to just keep winning the clutch vetoes so that you can dictate the game, and these comps aren't equitable, it becomes a little frustrating to watch, especially since some of the gameplay this season, and that's one thing I've been saying, common sense, y'all, common sense. This is an individual game. This is not a group. You guys came in as individuals. You will leave as individuals. You might make friendships, but you're here for the money. At least that's what I would be doing in the house. I don't know. 100 days in a house just to make friends. Personally, that's not my forte, but to each their own. And so I wish the comps were more equitable, or that people who are winning these competitions like kind of start targeting each other, because right now they're just riding off of each other's coattails, i.e. the fugitives. But you guys can't all win Big Brother. Like at some point, you guys are gonna have to go after each other. We use the people who can't win.
Yeah. I was gonna say that real quick. It's wild to me that Cameron's using this HOH to go after Mimi and Felicia, and teaming up with the two people who are winning. The three of them were in the top 3 of the HOH. It's like, and the end game is where the competitions are even more physical. So it's like, are any of you thinking about this?
Right.
It's wild. I don't know.
Like, wouldn't you want to give yourself the best chance and be the only physical threat in the house instead of keeping every other physical threat? I don't know. It just doesn't seem to make a lot of, I agree with you both. It doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense.
I think the issue with that also is that Corey keeps, and we'll talk about Corey later, but Corey keeps saying, oh, the ends of the competitions are mental. They're mental. They're mental. On what basis, on what grounds have these final HOHs been mental? And so I think people who know the game and are physical are more likely to maybe suspect that maybe also, you know, it's not just mental. But at this rate, the competition beasts, Jag and Matt, to me, don't have super well knowledge or aren't well versed in the Big Brother realm. Cameron kind of seems like it, but I don't want a Cameron steamroll personally. So at this rate, like, oh my God,
maybe they're listening. Horrible. Yeah, maybe they're listening to Corey because they think, oh, he's a fan, him in America or whatever. So they're like, oh, there are, you know, they're mental. I don't know. I don't know what's going on
there. If you ask me who's to blame, I'm definitely going to take a page out of Chima's book. I'm blaming production.
Introduces me to have a little bit of a talk.
I don't like it. Like, you can't do the same thing year after year after year and expect a different result. You know what I'm saying? And we're seeing like the same type of player like every season, kind of like really dominating these endgame comps. And it, you know, I wouldn't mind as much if the twists didn't come in and like kind of like completely mess up gameplay. Like, it's almost, you're punishing people for playing the game the way it was designed to be played, which is like, all right, if I'm not good at comps, then like, let me get these people out. You get Jag out, he's back in. All right, whatever. You get Jared and Cam out, and they can stay in the house for a week, do some damage to your game, and then one of them gets to stay. And ultimately, the one who is good at comps that stays wins HOH, which is wild. Like, if you're going to do that, at least just like, all right, don't let them participate in HOH. Just give them a week of safety, and then just like let everyone else like duke it out. Like, that's the most fair thing I think you should do. Because obviously what they were trying to avoid was like a revolving door. Like, I get it, but like there's a better way to handle it, you know? So that's my issue with production. There's nothing new. I always rant about this every season. Now, the player. Go ahead, Katie. But I was about to.
No, you keep going.
Being dumb, you know what I'm saying? Like, Cam. He keeps saying he wants Corey out. I'm waiting for it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to lie. I think the fugitives, and we can get into the players in a second, isn't a bad idea for him, because if you're Cam, like, what else do you have to lose at this point? Like, you throw some at the wall. Somebody's throwing him in the Alliance. Like, all right, take it. You know, if you want to stay loyal to it, stay loyal to it. If you don't, you don't. But he's playing the long game. He said he's trying to like blow it up from the inside. I don't personally see a problem with Nicole or Felicia going for him, because I think everyone should be available to leave for him. Best case scenario, his allies want to work with Corey and he needs allies. Like, all right, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a couple ways to go about this. But if you're Cameron, I think out of everyone in this house, he literally has no wrong or right moves here. Like he has to win to the end at this point. Do it like do what you want. I don't really care what he does at this point, you know? So I don't know. That's how I feel. But go ahead, Katie.
I mean, he's playing with house money at this point. Like he was evicted unanimously. He by chance got back in the house. Like let him do whatever, whatever he's going to do. I think it's a waste to put up Felicia and Mimi on the block, but I mean, whatever. I think the biggest thing about this past week that was frustrating is that they not only brought Jared and Cam back in the game, but they paused the game. So even though we didn't actually have an HOH proper, everybody's kind of letting Jared and Cam dominate the week anyway, because they're the only two that really have something to lose or something, any game to talk, because there's no one else in power. If there were an HOH or vetoes or other things happening around them, like plans could have been made, or it just felt like they centered the week around these two players that were evicted instead of letting the game continue and letting them kind of infiltrate the game. They were the game last week, which I think is the most frustrating part of the whole thing. It was like a super advantage almost, it felt like. Even though they're both evicted, like it just seemed a little crazy.
Yeah.
To your point, Isaiah, about Cam not having a right or wrong move, I think this week we saw whether or not Cam was going to play offensive or defensive. And I think he chose to play defensive in the sense that, it took a village to get rid of Cameron. A village. Like it took a lot of people, a lot of moving parts. And so now there's less people, right? And so the people who are most likely to win are Matt and Jag moving forward in these competitions, unless something changes miraculously, but based off the pattern we've seen so far. And so him aligning with the only people who could, win a HOH or a veto, other than like those luck or random wins, are those two. So I think he aligned himself in a defensive manner because those are people who can't advocate for him to leave, right? So while I don't agree, and I think the best move is to keep someone like Felicia and Mimi who don't necessarily or haven't proved physical prowess yet. I understand that choice because he wants to protect himself moving forward, as he is one of the biggest targets. So I have to give like credit where credit is due in that sense. But it's boring gameplay for me personally.
Can we also like briefly just talk about his reasoning in terms of what he told Felicia about like not wanting her in the jury? Like,
Sure.
is that valid? I mean, I have not thought about jury votes at all, to be honest. Do we think, like, what do you guys think? Now I'm interviewing you. I'm just curious what you guys think, because I'm like trying to play out, like, if Cameron's in the end, do we really think? I feel like Felicia, I don't know. I don't think she would be like, I don't know. It depends on who he's against, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
The vibe from me when it comes to Felicia, if we're talking about jury votes, I'm like, Felicia is never going to vote for the person that takes her out. So that's how I feel. I feel like whoever's the one to take her out, like, nah, I'm off you. Josie looks like she disagrees, but
she's
I
still
feel
upset
like
about Suri. I mean, she's still talking about Suri not voting for her to stay.
jury and all that was crazy.
And like that was kind of out of their power. They were between a rock and a hard place between Izzy and Felicia. So I could see bitterness.
Go ahead, Josie. Before I cut in.
Here's where I'm at, right? I think there is a way to do jury management, and people don't like this reference, but Josh Martinez from BB25 is a great example of great jury management with the goodbye messages. I think there are elements, goodbye messages, not that, don't look at me that way. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. Roll the tapes. I'm just saying.
I'm on your side. I'm justice for Josh. I feel like he gets a better.
But I agree.
I'm sorry. I like Mr. Josh Martinez. Y'all can get me in the comments later.
I don't got a problem with Josh.
Josie and I are on record being pro Josh.
I have no problem with Josh.
I mean, I love Paul too. It's not like anti-Paul.
I don't got a problem with none of these people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I don't know about all that. But go ahead. Continue.
Okay. I think a lot of elements aided Josh's one, but I think the goodbye messages did play a part of it. So I think you can get someone out and still have good management. And I think you can kind of play with Felicia in the sense of like connecting with her one-on-one, and then her love for the game, because she's been watching the show since season 1, I believe, like with her husband. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I like from day one. So to some degree, she is a fan, and I think you can have those conversations. Now, the issue with Cameron is, and this is what I think will bite him in the butt always, is that he doesn't actually connect with these people in a personal way. And if he does, it makes them uncomfortable. So he's worried about Felicia. I think he needs to look at the game as a whole. First of all, you're not even in final two. How can you get into the final two chairs before you start counting your jury votes? Because you can count the jury votes now, but will you even make it? Or aren't you going to be seventh, sixth? Like, I think he's looking at it all wrong. And I think if he thinks that Felicia is a liability for a jury vote, he should be playing the social aspect of the game and being like, how can I get her on my side? And that's the issue. He's like, I'm going to get you out. But like, Felicia isn't the only person. You think McCole's going to vote for you? Do you think you got Cerise's vote? Like, are you just going to keep targeting people?
Everybody hates Cameron. I mean, nobody likes him personally, right? They know he can win competitions and maybe he's good for their game, but he's been public enemy number 1 since like week 2. Nobody likes him. Maybe even week 1 because he was being so creepy to Riley. Like, nobody likes him. So I agree with you, Josie. I think he has a lot of work to do personally. To
like I said, he needs to count to the end. Like, there's no other way to do it. Like shout out Ty last season, but like he has to do that. Like from Big Brother Canada 11, he has to win every single thing from every single week until he gets to the end. Like that's literally how he wins the game. I don't think there's any other way. I don't think anyone's crazy enough to take him there. He has to win his way there. But I want to talk about Felicia and Nicole since we're bringing them up. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been saying this for a while, you know, and I'm done. You know, and I like them a lot, but I'm done.
Here we go.
I think, you know, I had a lot of faith in Felicia at first. And when that Izzy vote happened, you know, it's okay. Like, I understand being irritated. She held a grudge for weeks. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you want to go against Cirie, Jared, anybody, do what you need to do, right? What is your plan afterwards? Because they didn't come up with any kind of backup plan whatsoever. And like, all right, maybe they might make an alliance with like AmeriCorey. All right, cool. Like that sounded great. There is no work being done in that whatsoever. Nicole is obviously not into it. Nicole, I feel like the fandom has put like a lot of gas in Nicole, you know, and I see it. I see the vision. But what is she doing? Like, I don't know what her plan is. She's like, how long are you going to play the middle until like you do something? Like, I feel like I'm watching Laurel from Survivor on Big Brother when I see McCall. And I like, you know, they're both really intelligent. They have good reads. They know what they have to do, but they don't do anything. And, you know, it's really bothersome because I feel like Nicole could be like such a great player, but like I'm watching her game just like melt in front of my eyes, and she has like max 3 weeks at this point if she doesn't change anything. Felicia's done. I'm sorry. Unless she wins veto, she's done. Most of the people are already saying like this week's over. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like I don't know. And I people might not like this, but she's getting a whammy sound effect. I'm not really into it. But like I don't think Nicole and Felicia are like it. Like I'm off the Nicole train right now. Javier, shout to you, but like I'm done. Go ahead, Josie. You have a problem with that? Are we good?
Here's the thing, Isaiah.
Yeah.
If McCole could win let's say McCole would have won this last HOH, right? She was gonna put up Matt and Jag. All she needs is one competition. I feel like she can't. I feel like people expect her to do a lot, but she knows she's kind of at the bottom, and she can't like advocate for anything crazy because she's accessible. Like she's accessible to be put on the block easily. And so all she needs, again, Big Brother production, let's make these comps like luck based.
That's crazy.
I can't.
That you say that.
I think she wins one competition, Isaiah. She wins one competition and she puts up Matt and Jag, and everyone will be losing their mind. And that is one of the best moves because those two are the front runners to win, which is crazy because Jag was evicted.
And I agree with you, but we've been saying that all season. How many, like, do I really have to wait for a competition win? She's been in so many opportunities where she can completely take over the game. I'm like, let's be honest. And she just doesn't do anything. And like most of the time, at the first point, she just kept cutting off all these extra deals for like the brown sugar babies. You know, like, all right, cool. Like Cerie's missed, I get it. But like once you guys see her at the bottom, and she keeps going into the storage room complaining. She's going into the DR complaining and the goodbye message. Jared, I wish we could work together, but you know, these fools split us up. Like, you know what's going on when are you going to do something about it? So I
Mm.
don't care anymore about like this miss. I'm not getting misted by Nicole anymore. I like her. I hope she wins. I hope she does well. I'm out. I'm out on the train.
I
It is what
I
it
can't
is.
co-sign that.
That's okay. Hot topics over
Casual.
here, but
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I think McCole's biggest issue is that she went on the block this week. She should have prevented that because now that she's on the block, this house flip flops. I mean, America's already like, let's flip it. Like they're talking about it, but if not, she's going. They're talking about taking her out next week. Although now it could be, I don't know. But yeah, I think she was okay just sitting back and letting people do things. But she still had to avoid going on the block because of how this house is so volatile for people when they're on the block. So I get it. I feel like she does. We're at the point where she does need to turn it on, and maybe she missed the boat. But I have faith in her. I have faith. I'm gonna stay positive about Nicole. I watch her in the storage room, and I know we're like, do something. But let's see. And who knows? Like maybe she'll win the veto. I don't know. That would be fun for me.
It would be great if she won the veto. But isn't Corey already trying to flip the vote?
Yeah,
and say, let's target Mimi. I mean, and Corey was maybe her one lifeline outside of Felicia and maybe Suri if Felicia's out of the house. Like, if she doesn't have Corey in America, who's she gonna have? She doesn't really have great relationships with the other people in the house. Like, and I almost feel like that's the one thing that we can really falter on. The comps, we've already talked about it. I think it's really hard to win a competition against the men in the house. But there are ones that like seemed like they could have been hers. Pressure cooker, the wall. There are a few that she had a pretty good shot at. But I think, the relationship building piece, like that's really where I feel like we can take a few points away from her game. And with not having one competition win under your belt, like you really need to turn the social part of it on. And she's great in the storage room. Do that outside of the storage room and put some work in. So I'm not out on her. I like her. I'm rooting for her. But I'm more leaning towards you, Isaiah. I just think if she doesn't win veto this week, there's a really good chance that she could possibly go home. And, maybe she doesn't. And then next week is her week and she flips the house upside down. That would be amazing. But she would also have to be bold enough to take the shot, which I think she would, but she has to get in the position to do it first.
Yeah, she has to cut bait with Felicia. It's like, okay, Felicia's
Yeah.
like one of you is going home probably. So like
Yeah.
start building other relationships. I agree with that.
Like, let's play. You're on the block. Let's play.
All right. And then, I mean, let me just get this out of my system so I can stop being toxic.
Here we go.
So the next people I want to talk about is AmeriCorey. I'm done.
Oh, yeah. They're catching strays for me as well.
I'm
so
done.
No, I've been done.
America Lopez. That was a crazy goodbye message because what are you doing in this game? I'm sorry. But like, all right. So here's the thing. I think Corey, and this is mainly with Corey. Corey was playing like he was trying to put like this Steve Moses, Ian Terry thing. Like, all right, I'm gonna like sit back, not try to like be in the crossfires, rat people out every now and then. And he got caught, and that's fine. Obviously, he sacrificed a lot of stock when he got rid of Izzy because she was giving him a lot of information, keeping him from getting targeted, all that stuff. And a lot of people would be like, horrible move. Why the hell would you do that? And I was a part of that for a little bit. But in my opinion, it's okay if you're going to go from the bottom of one side to like the top or at least the middle of the other side, because at least you have some sort of influence, control, or power. Like I've been cool with that. And it looked like Corey, he was using his noggin for a little bit. I was like, all right, like Corey woke up. This whole showman's thing might be able to work out because America's not ratting everything out every 5 seconds for a second. And then obviously, Zombie Week happened and Corey and America just got comfortable. And I didn't like that. They got very comfortable. And at that point, they just stopped playing. And like, I'm looking at Corey. He is so behind on the gameplay now. He's telling everybody that he's going to kill it in these endgame comps. Everything he does find out.
Why would he say that, by the way?
I know.
I don't know. And then everything that he does know, he tells America, who tells everybody else.
Yeah, she does say that. She tells.
I don't know what the hell is going on. You went from like, you had Jag snowed. Like Matt wanted you out for like a minute and Jag kept stopping you. He wanted to go to the end with these people. And now you lost Jag, you lost Blue, Matt's getting his way. I don't know what they're doing anymore. And I am baffled by that, and I wouldn't care because I think they're self-aware enough to like figure it out eventually. But it's America in that goodbye message acting like she's controlling stuff. That was just like, so they're also getting the whammy sound effect. I didn't like that big L, but I'm just tired, and you know, I'm just tired of AmeriCorey. I'm just disappointed, but that's all I had to say. I just had to get my rain out real quick because I didn't want to hold that in. But how do you guys feel about AmeriCorey at this point? Like, am I tripping? Did they like completely drop the ball, or are they fine? Like, am I wrong, Katie? What's going on?
I kind of want to be honest. I don't know that they ever really had the ball. Like, I think Corey got a
Yep.
lot of really overdone praise online because he's a fan and he's a gamer, but like he hasn't really been that good at the game. The only thing he really did, which I don't even really love, was the fight with Jared. He came out on top of that, but like he spilled everything. So he didn't keep anything to himself to use maybe later in the game. And like information is currency. We say it all the time. He just like gave everything out. And he only did that because of America. And he sacrificed an ally who we know from Izzy's exit interview. She said it to us, all of us. She wanted to go to the end with that was her out from Suri. If she needed to have a way away from Jared and Suri, it was Corey. He had her, and he didn't even realize or take enough stock or whatever in her. It was all of his sights were on America just because she gave him his first hand job. Like, I don't really understand what's going on with the two of them, and like that's not slut shaming to America. That's for him. Like he has never experienced anything like this before, and he's totally blinded. But like, I just wake up. That's not what you're here for, Josie. You've said it a million times. You're here to win $75,000, not to like play kissy face in bed all day or like make out in the shower. Which I never need to see Corey's tongue in anybody else's mouth in my life ever again. By the way, Big Brother, please don't like zoom in on that ever again in the episode. That gave me. I don't know. I'm just not here for them, and I feel like he gave away. He had the upper hand for a little while, and then he just immediately lost it. Like, he just fumbled. He's just unfortunately not that good, and everybody wants to love him because I think they see themselves in him, but he's not that good at the game, unfortunately.
And we don't hate nobody. I'm just letting y'all know that for
I
people.
don't hate anybody. Yeah, I don't hate anybody.
But we are super critical. We don't care. I just don't like it where like you can't go from the bottom, being unhappy that you're at the bottom of one alliance,
Yeah,
and then just go to the bottom of a better alliance with better comp people. Like, at least on the other side, there's a chance you could like comp out, and like all you have to worry about is like Jared. You know what I'm saying? But like now you got to worry about Matt, you got to worry about Jag, you got to worry about Cameron, and all these other people who are killing it in comps.
I also think getting rid of Jared for Corey was maybe the wrong move because Jared had all of the attention on him. So like, let someone else do it. Everybody else wanted Jared out. I just don't think it was necessary.
I mean, Jared did to himself. I'm gonna keep it stacked, but
Jared didn't come after him. That was just my feeling. I think they could have repaired that.
I feel that.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think they're both a little messy now. They're getting sloppy. And it's interesting. I think when one of them leaves, it'll benefit. Like, so they're Jag and Matt and Cameron are talking about Blue and how she's after Corey, so they're thinking about letting her take the shot at them. But they're also talking about, well, America might need to go before Corey because if America stays, like, she can team up with Blue, and then if Mimi's still there or whatever. So I don't know. I do think neither of them, it's not helping their game that they're both in there together. And I think it's distracting. And it's unfortunate because I do think they both have potential. But Corey, I also forget how young Corey is. And I'm not going to say it's an age thing because Josh won when he was 23. I think, Paul, a lot of people play when they're young. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little messy. And I think they're safe for a week or two. But then, I don't know. We'll see. That's the thing. Corey keeps saying I don't know why he's telling people he can win endgame comps. It's like, okay, well, that's the reason to vote you out.
All the more reason.
And it's not even true.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Josie's a menace. Like, I'm just like, I'm watching her right now. I need to add like some sound effects for you because that's crazy. Go ahead.
I'm excited to actually get into this because Corey, America, like both of them together, but Corey specifically, what a horrible week. First of all, everything I've said since we started podcasting this season, everything wrong with what you should not do as a player, they've done. They talk too much. They talk too much. I said that if they're going to be together, they need to play as a showman, as a duo, and not as individuals, which clearly they're not doing. I think maybe Corey's tapping into that a little bit more, but America, loose lips, sink, ships. Like I can't repeat that more and more like every time. And the thing about Corey, and this is why I have to drag him, because he did all of this for what? For what? His downfall is actually, it's giving theater, it's giving Shakespeare, it's giving karma, because everything he has done to set himself up to that side of the house is being done to him. So he was in that group with Izzy, with Suri, with Jared, and he was complaining. They were giving him all the information. This is the alliance, 7 deadly sins, sugar brown babies, all of this information. He took that information, ran with it, and went to the other side. Now, the exact same thing is happening to him through his showmance, nonetheless. Like, it's actually mind-boggling. And so now they're hearing all about, and he's also giving them ammo. Oh, I'm in a Final Four alliance with Felicia and Mimi. It's absolutely insane. He is literally his downfall. He's literally leading to his detriment. It's crazy. Oh, I'm making this alliance, but you guys should also make this alliance with them. Please go ahead. What is going on? Like he's literally doing the exact same thing they did to him, the exact same thing, and he expects different results. Did you not learn? Did you not? You literally went through that experience and you're doing the exact same thing. And America, oh my goodness, delusional, babes. Delusional. She is destroying his game. It's absolutely crazy. And when he's like talking to her one-on-one and he's like, well, you didn't do this, or thank goodness you didn't say this. And she's like, yeah, when she entirely doing that is mind-boggling. You guys are literally playing as a duo now. It's ridiculous. I don't understand the gameplay. I can't. And they're both big fans. That's what's shocking to me. I'm like, you've seen the show. You guys should know better more than anyone else. And I just want to ask the Amir Corey stands, is America actually good for his game? Like, do you genuinely, with your heart of hearts, believe that this girl is good for his game and vice versa? I don't. Like, he needs to cut it. He needs to make like Jared and Suri, and one of them needs to cut free so the other one can thrive in the game. I'm not saying I'm rooting for them, but logically, that's the best move. It's the best move. And the fact that they don't see it is insane.
I think the best place he was in the beginning when he was with Suri and Jared and like Izzy and getting all that information. And I don't know, he let that go way too soon, and he really let America fog his brain, unfortunately. Like all of the mess was because America, her name came up. That was really it. Izzy just said, don't sleep in the bed with America. And Izzy didn't trust America, so he just burned the whole thing down, and now he has no other leg to stand on. So I don't know. Not great.
Yeah.
Not great stuff from them.
I think I was just gonna say, I think they'll be better when they're split up. And I agree with Josie in the sense that like there are showmans who's not playing together. It's so weird. Like they're actually kind of ruining each other's game. So like I've never seen that before, but it's interesting.
I literally said this. I'm like, just like Jared was like the kryptonite for Suri, they're each other's Jareds. I'm just being honest. Like they're both. So when they're split up, I'm very curious to see how they do as individual players. But
I just don't know which one of them is the better or the worst player. Like they're kind of on even footing for me. Josie, I know you said America's ruining his game. I think Corey's doing a lot of that himself. Like I think he's just totally blinded, and I think he has this like. I don't know if it's ego, but there is something about him that like he comes across as he thinks he knows better, and everything he does, it seems like it's almost a misstep, and it's just, I don't know, it's rough to watch.
There were some people out. Oh, go ahead, Josie. I'm sorry.
I tweeted this earlier this week, but I said there are people in the game of Big Brother in general that can play from the bottom or play from the top. And Corey, unfortunately, to me, like he is better from playing at the bottom, being scrappy, having to think and be out like strategic in that mindset, playing more defense than offense. Because when you're playing from the bottom, there's so much room to go up, right? But when you're coming from the top, you can only go down. So everyone is plotting your demise. And I think Corey lost that sense because again, he got comfortable, right? Because now he came from a bottom situation and he went to the top. But now that he's at the top, I think like, I don't know what he thinks he's doing. It just doesn't make sense. That's not his strength. So the moment he realizes or he touches the block, he will wake up. Like, whether he's with or without America, I think he'll realize, like, oh shit, like, I'm actually susceptible of going home. We kind of saw that with Cameron, but little does he know, a lot of other people in the house feel that way. And so they're both doing horrible.
I saw there was a couple posts that, there's a discussion going on, like, is this twist ruining the game for like America and Corey? And I don't think so. It's if they were going on the block like people thought, like maybe, but obviously they're not, so I think that they really, just because they can't stop like telling everyone everything, like they're ruining their own games actively. I don't think the twist had anything to do to ruin their game specifically. It ruined some people's games, but not theirs. So what are you going to do? But moving on from them, just on a positive note, the people who are doing good, shockingly, obviously, I mean, we can get into Matt and Jag in a second, but Bowie Jane is actually not playing bad. What's going on with that? Like who saw this coming? Like
our winner.
Yeah, sure.
My draft pick. Hey.
Oh God. Like, is there a chance for Bowie to win this season, Katie? Is there a chance?
I don't think she'll realistically get any votes, but I think she could very well be sitting in those final two chairs, depending on who else is in the final three. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she's gonna get a check if she's in those final two chairs. Right. Not a lot of people can say that. You still get a check at the end of the day. I think Bowie Jane, surprisingly to me, is kind of giving Survivor in the game of Big Brother. She's just like voting block energy. I don't think she has any loyalty anymore. And so I think that is a lot of people's issue in the house. The people who are not in power, they're so focused about like the betrayal or someone doing it to you once that they don't realize that, oh, I actually need these people, which is why I like kind of a voting block strategy in Survivor. And I think it needs to be implemented into the house. Like Corey, America, Sari, Bowie Jane, Felicia, Nicole, those six, they need to start like getting their feelings inside of the way and realize that this is a game and they want to win. And so they might have to vote with each other, in the following weeks, but are they going to do that? No, I think Bowie Jane's going to go wherever Bowie Jane feels comfortable because they need her as a number. But I wish people would maybe tune into that aspect of the game. I'm not saying, I don't know if that's deserved or not by Bowie Jane, but hey, she's more likely to be in final two than a lot of these other house guests. So props to her.
And she's pulled into this Matt, Jag, and Cameron alliance, which that's where you want to be. That's who's winning. And if you're safe with them, like you're good. So I don't know. Good for her.
And if
maybe
someone goes on the block, it won't be her.
It will not be her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even if she goes up, I don't think she's getting voted out, depending on who she's next to.
We have a fun stat too. She officially has one more confessional than Kirsten did when the season, the first boot of the season. So she has one more confessional than there, from what I heard. Yeah. So wow. I don't know how accurate that is, but allegedly. Yeah, it'll be the craziest one ever. Who else is doing good? Sari, who I thought Sari would be struggling a little bit. I thought that she was gonna have to like weaponize the fact that she like the mom of Jared and everything. But you want to talk about like the twist ruining games? I think it helped Sari a lot because she got to like work that Sari magic, talk to people. Even though Jared was in the house, like he was technically out the game, and it didn't look like he was coming back, so she didn't need to focus on that. She's back into the fold, and just like Bowie Jane, I think Sari is like on the outliers of like this big group that just formed. America and her seem to be on good terms. Blue, obviously good with Sari. I don't see anyone outside of like what maybe Corey, maybe Felicia, who are really paying too much attention to Sari right now. So, this season's showing me like she might not be the best strategist, but like she's definitely like one of the best social players I've ever seen. I think that she is constantly able to just make these crazy good bonds with people to the point that like they don't worry about her. Now, can she win? Obviously, if she gets there, like that's what I'm really worried about. These comps, as I'm saying, have not been won by women this season. And like, as long as Matt is in the game, like that's really where she needs to hone her attention to, either Matt or Cam. And hopefully one of those are like so infatuated with her that like, all right, I'll take Suri to the end. Like, honestly, if I'm Suri, I'm trying to get Jag out because Matt will automatically be your final two. But until that happens, like she's like guaranteed like top 5, top 6, but like she's definitely going to get cut at one of those spots at this point. So I need her to, you know, hopefully get some luck on her side, and hopefully the right person wins HOH one of these weeks.
The thing I worry about for Suri is if she does get to the end with the house in the state that it's in and jury has not started yet, I guess if whoever is the next out is in jury, I think, right? Or after this week.
Yeah.
So I think the people that are left in the house are going to put a lot of emphasis on competitions. And I think that's going to really hurt Suri. Like, I think having an Izzy in the jury, having a Felicia, having a Mimi, or people who don't see as much value. Of course, Jared, yeah. But I think,
that's all her
like
votes.
I think those people who can see value in the game outside of the competitions and not put as much emphasis on the competitions would have been a better jury makeup for her. Obviously, it didn't work out in her favor that way, but I just don't know that she gets a Jag vote. I don't know that she gets a Cam vote. I think she would probably get Matt's vote, but I think Matt is the best chance for her to be at the end, and I think Matt at this point would beat her in a final two.
I also think that you need Corey in that jury, because I think that obviously he's aware of how great she is. I think that Corey will have enough respect for Suri's game,
I think so.
or just her title alone to like, you know, definitely vouch her as well.
Let's give Corey his first juror so he can.
That's what I was thinking.
Opinions on everyone. Yeah,
he doesn't want her at the once you hit like a final 6, final 5. Corey's gonna be like, hold on, Suri's still in this.
She's gotta go. Yeah,
like no. So he's got to go soon, but yes, he has to be in the jury because he's also somebody who, if she's sitting in the end, would be like, wait, guys, like I could see him at the jury round table being like, okay, she didn't win shit, but she's sitting here and she's a legend and no one took her out. So
speech and debate. That's the perfect time for it at the jury
round. I know, right?
So just a couple of few people to talk about, and then we can just get out of here. So because like I said, not much that really happened this week, you know. Natalie wants us to talk about Blue next, so let's talk about Blue next. Josie, how you feel about Blue killing the game right now?
I'm gonna say this, I'm probably gonna take it back next week, but Kitty Cat Purr, like you ate down apparently. Miss Mama's like, I have been dragging Blue for weeks. I've been saying, bro, you were making the wrong plays. Why you want to target Jared? And I think her finally sitting on the block, almost going home, really woke the Blue spirit that apparently the stands have been seeing for a while, because she came in and she was on it. She kept saying, we have to go after Corey. We have to go after Corey. Anytime she got any information from anybody in the house, it went back to the right people. Oh, I heard Corey mention your name 3 times today, Jack. 3 times. Insane work. There's something about just constantly reaffirming the same thing, repetition after repetition after repetition, that it makes people think that it's their idea. Like, I think at one point, Jag and Matt were like, yeah, you know what? Like, let's get rid of Corey. That's a good, like, that's our idea. That's a good thing. And like, I was amazed by it, because it's like she was kind of at the bottom of the house and of that dynamic. Yeah, she had links with them from Family Style, but I think they kind of got rid of her. They kind of tossed her to the side because of her relationship with Jared. But ultimately, like, I loved Blue's gameplay this week. Was it perfect? No. But for once, Blue, you have done it for me. I have to give you credit. Thank you, girl. Thank you for waking it up. Thank you for being present. Now, hopefully you could stay that way until you get evicted or you make it to final 2. Just keep this way. There are little things she could tweak, but overall,
I mean, I'm glad she's finally started playing the game to a degree, you know, but like I am a little worried for her, because I think someone who was really an advocate for her was Jag, and it seems like Jag doesn't really want her around that much anymore. It sounds like he's throwing her name for possible people to go up soon. They've basically replaced Blue in the 4 with Bowie Jane. So I'm just like, you know, like Suri's not going to like bend her back over just to save you, you know? So who does Blue really have at this point? I really don't know. Same case that we've been seeing for a lot of these people. We need her to win a comp. But go ahead, Sharon.
I was just gonna say, I will say, and I think this was, I don't know if it was today, but the fugitives or whatever, they are. I don't know if this is gonna stick, but they're like, you know what? Maybe we throw the next HOH to Blue to take the shot at Corey in America. So that could be fun.
That
I
could
need
be
him
fun.
to do
I
it.
would be sad. I would be sad. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I'm here. Listen, I'm here for a Blue HOH, so she can say a bunch of like Twitter like quotes or whatever, and then do whatever she needs to do. You know, like I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
TikTok.
Yeah. So the last people we really have to talk about, unless I'm missing someone, is the fugitives, mainly Jag and Matt. I think Matt is playing really good right now. Like, he is definitely on the road to get to the end. When are people going to target Matt? Like, let's be honest. Who is targeting Matt, and why are you not targeting Matt? I don't get it. I also think Jag needs to be watched because, unfortunately, he's a really bad player, but unfortunately, he's starting to get to a power position. Just because you're in a power position doesn't mean you're a good player. He's still making a lot of bad calls. Let me be honest.
Yep.
But like a lot of the people who want to keep him in the game, he wants to target now. So it's very funny. But you know, the fugitives, they're running the game right now. They have Cam on the side, Bowie on the side, and they have Sri on the side. Can they mess this up, Sharon? Is there any way this can just fail?
I mean, of course, especially in this house. It's really going to come down to who wins the HOH. And then, yeah, it's going to come down to next week's HOH, I think. Because if they win, they're fine. If they don't win, which is very unlikely at this point, then they might have to start pointing fingers at each other. I don't know. But yeah, it could always blow up because that's big, you know, this, especially this season.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got any other feelings?
Isaiah, who wanted
What's
to target
up?
Matt,
Who?
was Hisam. I'm
Get
just
out of
saying.
here. Okay.
Hisam knew from the beginning. Cam and Matt, he knew.
He's gone.
I know, but he's not forgotten.
True. We can't forget Hisam. I'm sorry. Like he just provided a lot for the season for me personally. But regarding Matt, I think what's interesting about Matt is that I don't feel like Matt has actually done anything like crazy strategically. But I just feel like everyone else around the house has just been messy. That like he is more likely to win. And so to me, it's like I think he would be a great winner in terms of representation for sure. But based off like strategy of the season and like a representation of the season, like game wise, I don't know what he has done for me to go like during the final two for me, when people are saying this is my gameplay, this is what I did, I get like excited, I get amped, like I get into it because I'm like, yes, tell us everything you did to get to this point, like, you know. And I just don't know what Matt would say in particular to be like, this is why I deserve the win, this is why, because I did this. Is like, I don't really see that from him. And so I don't know if like he is likely to win the game just because of how messy it is. So I don't know how I entirely feel about it in terms of like just strategically gameplay.
You know what I think it is? I think he has messed up less than everyone else.
Yeah.
And that might be all it takes for him. And I think he's done a really good job of learning the game throughout, because he came in obviously not knowing really what he signed up for and really having a lot of struggles in the beginning. And he's really acclimated well, and he has been measured enough to not make a lot of mistakes. And that's something that we cannot say about most of the other players in the house. So that might be enough just to take him over the finish line.
The bar definitely is low.
It's on the floor. Yeah.
Under the ground at this point. All right, but do we have anything left that we want to talk about, guys?
That can go
this week, man. It just wasn't that much to say.
I have a question for you guys, actually. What do you guys think about the potential of an evicted player coming back and winning the game? Like, do you feel like
worst winner?
That's been
Underwood. Okay.
Yeah, like
worst winner.
What do you think the discourse if Cam or Jag
worst winner?
Game,
if it was anyone else, yeah, but our options are not good, so worst winner for sure.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, do we think that's gonna affect jury votes too?
I wonder. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, are people going to take that into consideration? Do you think that's going to be?
I think they should.
I think so too.
I mean, if Cam is sitting next to, I mean, even like Bowie Jane and is saying, "Oh, I won all these comps," I mean, you also were voted out and she was not. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard to say because it entirely depends on what the jury is feeling like for that season. And right now it's looking very comp based heavy or preferred. But like me personally, the whole point of Big Brother is to not be evicted.
Right.
That's the whole point. Like
Right.
if we really just go to the base, the beginnings, the season 2, it's to not be evicted. Like that's the whole point. And the fact that 2 of them, or technically 3, but then Jared ultimately left, revolving door. 2 of them are still in the house right now. Like to me, don't merit the win automatically. But there are circumstances where I feel like if you prove yourself strategically, I could kind of see where people might swing their vote. So like, for example, again, another Survivor reference, but Natalie from like Winners at War, like her coming back and
Oh my
her
God,
like
love
working and grinding and going ham. Like I wanted her to win, and people were like, "You should have done fire." No, F the fire. I'm sorry, forget that twist. Not the podcast for that, but F the fire.
I have
twist,
so much
but-
to say about fire, but it's not the place.
not the place, but I'm just saying, like, I felt like she did everything from that position onwards that gave her some gravitas and some merit for that win. And I feel like Jag and Cameron, to me personally, haven't done anything mind-boggling or strategically like insane for them to like earn that win. And there's still a lot of game to be played, but it's kind of hard because I just feel like the gameplay this season is very low. So
100 days will do that to you, you know.
And we're not even in jury yet, so
God.
Okay. Miss Brown Sugar, she wants to know which members of the 2 evictees plus Matt will realize he need to pick up debate first.
I think Matt might realize first, to be honest.
Yes,
Maybe
but I
Cam.
also think Jag and Cameron should realize, hey, maybe we should go to the end together since
We both got evicted.
we voted out.
Yeah.
the issue is, will they think of that? And I don't think so.
I don't think so. I almost feel like they're not even taking it into consideration that that's a thing that happened. Like,
Yeah,
it's like water under the bridge. Oh, okay. No, I'm back in the house. All is good. But it's like, no, you guys were both evicted unanimously. Like, that's pretty crazy. Both of you were evicted unanimously.
Joseph wants to know, would this conversation still be going on about equity of comp wins if someone else behind Cameron won HOH? At least he isn't casered out the game.
I mean, I guess I don't really understand I mean, part of the whole thing is that the competitions are not equitable, which means Cameron is, the most likely to win most of them. If he's out of the house, then it's going to be Matt and Jag winning most of them, or Jared, if Jared was still in the house, would be probably up there winning most of them. I think it's the same conversation, just insert different strong man at the top of the conversation. They're still not equitable competitions. And it's been this way for seasons. This is not the only season. So
Go
No,
ahead,
I was just gonna say, I mean, I'm just thinking about like the end if Suri was there and she was sitting next to like a Matt or a Cam, or specifically Cam and Jag, she could easily at least use the argument that they've been voted out and she is not. But if she's sitting next to Matt, I'm sure Matt's gonna talk about comp wins, like we said, and it would be interesting how Suri could talk about more social strategy and who in the jury would, I guess, take that in, because I know Corey would, but I don't know who else would. So yeah, it's fun to think about, but I have no idea how they get there. So we'll see.
I think in terms of this question, I'm going to compare to Big Brother Canada. I think a lot of the Big Brother Canada competitions are more equitable, and we've seen that. I think there's different types of comps regarding that manner. Like even the final 3 HOH, the one where usually it's about like holding a rope and like going backwards and stuff like that. Like that to me is more equitable than like holding yourself against the wall. And like, there are specific body types that are more likely to win those competitions, right? So there's small things where we can still have the elements of endurance, luck, physical, but there's ways to do it in which it is more equitable. Now, look at last season. Ty won a bunch of the comps like towards the end, but I didn't say it wasn't equitable in any sense. But I do think there are competitions that favor specific body types and specific traits. And so maybe if we could just reel those back just more to make it more of a playing field, I think that would be better. So because like, what's the point of having a diverse cast if we can't have diverse competitions as well.
I also think what Big Brother Canada does great is that the HOH doesn't play the veto, and that just opens up the field. Because if Cameron is a comp beast in the HOH, which are typically less physical because they usually are live, this season not so much, but the vetoes are the more physical competitions. Of course, the HOH, whoever won the last comp, is probably likely to at least be a contender in this competition. But just having the nominees and 4 other people play veto, anything could happen. And I think that that's such an easy change that Big Brother could implement at any time. And I think that would really open the game up.
Listen, Canada gets a lot of crap because of the feeds, but I agree. I think that was one of the good things. All right, and last question. This was asked during the whole winter conversation, but what if Joseph is mean. What if Bowie wins the game? We call Bowie furniture. But what if Bowie wins the game? How do we feel
Social
about that?
queen.
Whoever wins the game, in my opinion, deserves to win the game. That's just my opinion. I'm not,
I agree.
I get it. It doesn't matter why or how. So, hey, listen, I'll support her if she wins. I don't know.
We'll see where she lands on the ranking.
I can get behind the Bowie Jean win. Okay, like don't shoot the messenger enough just because she's on my draft team. But also, one, she hasn't been evicted. Yeah. let's start there. 2, they have been targeting her. Like if you think about it, like they were always like fucking Bowie Jane. She was always at the bottom, and she still conquered that. And she, even with the Jared vote, she stuck her ground. She said no. Like would I have wished she wouldn't have done that? Yes, because I feel like that would have been fun gameplay. But she stuck her ground, and she has played a part as a pivotal vote in these house so far. So if she could sit there and or technically they stand up when they speak, but if she could stand there and just pitch those strong points in her game, I think it merits it. You know what I mean? Like I think she's done. If she makes it to the final 2 after everything we've seen this season, I mean, come on, you have to get behind it.
But her speech is going to be like, shout out to Australia. Like that's going to be
yes.
Let's be real.
I personally at this point, I know. I think she's a better player than Jag at this point. Personally, I think she's made less mistakes, and I think unintentionally probably shuts down a lot of game conversations that she's not technically a part of, but maybe that's kind of an advantage for her because she shuts it down. They can't keep talking, and I don't know. We'll see what she says at the end if she gets there. I'd support it.
All right. Well, that is it. W stream, round of applause. A good stream. But you want to keep up with all of us, obviously, definitely make sure you're checking out all of our socials. And specifically, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We love comments over here. And if you're listening to the audio platforms, 5 stars only, please. 5 stars. If you don't like it, don't rate it. Just wait until you hear something that is 5 stars that you do like. But we're going to start closing out. Sharon, thank you so much, obviously, for coming through. It was awesome. Where can people find you? And someone in the chat wants to know who's next on the winner's weigh-in. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about all that, but where can people find you?
You can find me at Sharon Tharp on all platforms. You can listen to my podcast, The Exclusive. It's at Exclusively Pod on all platforms. I'm talking to winners every week. I do have a couple coming up, and for everyone asking me to get Maggie, of course I'm trying to get Maggie. Like it's not that easy, guys. She's but I'm trying, and you'll find out soon. It's I'm solidifying the scheduling for the next few weeks, so I won't reveal just yet, but follow me and you'll find out.
All right, you're invited here as many times as you want to, Sharon.
Thank you, guys. This is fun.
Here. This was so fun.
Josie, what you got going on?
Well, I was gonna give a shout out to Sharon because the content I've seen so far, I just watched the Kevin interview. It was so good. I was taking notes. Okay, so you guys really should tune into Sharon. But you guys can follow me on all social media handles at Josiane XNM, JOSIANEXNM. We were taking a hiatus from the challenge, but we will be back next week. I'm excited to talk about it. Some more Josh propaganda. I fear Also, I might make some appearances on Love is Blurry because this season has been messy. If you guys haven't listened to that either, you guys should listen to it. It was a good conversation. And Traders Canada is starting. So I am sat. I'm sat front row. I am here to represent my nation, my country of Canada, and I will be tweeting about it, hopefully making an appearance on Sign the Traders, Katie's podcast. But that's everything for me.
Oh, and sidebar, if you want to watch Traders Canada, you have no way to watch it. I believe our podcaster, Chanel, she's going to try to screen share it in the Discord. So join the Discord. It's in the description. If you want to watch Trader Canada, I think she's going to show it when it's up. But Katie, how about you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. Been on a mini hiatus there just because podcasting work is a lot, but I'll be back. And as Josie mentioned, we'll be back with Signed the Traders for the Traders Canada and US whenever that comes out. We're really excited to talk about that. But Javier and I will definitely be back. Carrie will be popping in as well. So we're excited for that. You could find me here, obviously, every Friday. You can find me with Josie talking the challenge. And you can also hear Carrie and I talking all things Bravo on Pod What Happens Live. And we'll be back tomorrow to review everything that happened this week.
All right. And like usual, you can find me at 8 Ball Bangers on everything. Obviously, like they said, Friday, every week here talking Big Brother. You never know who's going to come on here, like Sharon herself. And then, Love is Blurry. We're talking about Love is Blind. I was literally watching it before I came in here. This cast is a damn mess. I hate the show so much, so bad. But if you want to hear me, Javier, I think we're recording on Monday, so look out for that. And then Monday as well, our first Survivor podcast, me and G Worthy and Josh Kettles, we're going to talk about Survivor and possibly rate players or something. I don't know. Just check it out. We're going to figure it out. Yeah. But just follow me on Twitter and you'll figure out what I'm doing. But until next week, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.